This is Life Points with Ronda, because every choice is a life point. Every decision shapes your love, your money, and your life's direction. So take a breath, open your mind. Are you ready for today's topic? Let's dive in. Trigger warning. This episode contains discussions of incest, long-term infidelity, paternity fraud, family destruction, psychological trauma, and the betrayal of a parent against their own child. Listener discretion is strongly advised. If you are currently in a situation where you suspect family secrets are being hidden, please know that the National Sexual Assault Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-656-HOPE-4673. You deserve answers. You deserve healing. You deserve the truth. I need to be honest with you. This was a bit weird for me, and normally I don't do this, but I covered this story recently on my other show, Love, Lies, and Life Lessons. I sat with the recording for a while after I finished. I listened back to it, and something kept pulling at me. Something kept saying, "You're not done with this story yet." Because on Love, Lies, and Life Lessons, we talk about relationships, the lies inside them, the lessons that come after. And this story has both of those things. But when I really sat with it, when I let it settle into me the way a story does when it's trying to tell you something bigger than itself, I realized that framing it as a relationship story was like calling a hurricane a rainstorm. Technically accurate, completely insufficient. This show, Life Points with Ronda, is about something different. It is about truth, raw, unfiltered, sometimes unbearable truth. It is about survival. Not the Instagram version of survival, where you post a sunrise and a caption about your glow up. I mean real survival. The kind where you are on the floor and you don't know how you are going to stand up again. It is about what you do when the ground beneath you doesn't just shake, it disappears entirely. When everything you thought was solid turns out to have been hollow the whole time. So, yes, I am telling this story again, but not the same way. This time there is no relationship framework to organize it. No tidy arc from betrayal to breakthrough. This time we are sitting in the wreckage together and we are looking at what is actually there. This story deserves to be told here because it is not just a relationship disaster. It is a human disaster. It is a fundamental collapse of the people and structures that were supposed to be the safest things in a woman's life. It is a cautionary tale about trust, about how we extend it so freely to the people who share our blood and our beds, about secrets and how long they can live inside a house, inside a marriage, inside a mother's smile, before they finally crawl out into the light, about the people closest to us who turn out to be strangers wearing familiar faces, and how we never saw it because we never thought to look. So I am telling it again, but differently. No fluff, no dramatic pauses for effect, no music swells, just the facts, just the pain, just the truth, because this woman's story is too important to dress up. Let me tell you about a woman who lost everything in a single moment. Not gradually, not over time, in one moment. One image burned into her brain that she will never be able to unsee for the rest of her life. And then, because this is Life Points and we do not come here just to bleed, let me tell you how she is still standing. I want you to do something for me before I continue. I want you to think about your mother. Think about the first memory you have of her. Maybe it is her hands. Maybe it is her voice. Maybe it is the way she smelled when she held you. Think about every time she showed up for you. Every sacrifice she made or said she made. Every time you defended her to someone who didn't understand her. Every time you chose her. Now I want you to ask yourself a question, and I want you to actually sit with it. Don't answer it quickly. What is the worst thing your mother could do to you? Not forget your birthday. That stings, but it heals. Not criticize your parenting. That cuts, but you recover. Not favor your sibling. That wound is old and familiar, and most of us have learned to carry it. Not even refuse to take your side when you needed her most. That one leaves a mark, but you find a way to live with it. I am not asking about those things. I am asking about the worst thing. The thing that lives at the very bottom of what a mother could do to a child. The thing so unthinkable that your mind has probably never even allowed itself to fully form the thought, because some betrayals are so large, your brain protects you from imagining them. I am asking about the thing you cannot come back from, the thing that doesn't just break your relationship with her, it breaks your understanding of who you are. Because when the person who created you, who held you first, who taught you what love was supposed to look like, when that person turns out to have been lying to you at a level so deep, it rewrites your entire history. You don't just lose her, you lose yourself. You lose every memory, every hug, every I love you she ever said now has a question mark behind it. Every holiday, every phone call, every moment you thought you were loved, you now have to hold up to the light and ask, was any of it real? That is what I am asking about. The thing that makes you a stranger to your own life. A 40-year-old woman in Ohio came home early from a trip in early 2026. She walked into her bedroom. She found her husband in bed with her mother, and that, as catastrophic as it was only the beginning of what she was about to find out. Her mother was 60 years old, a children's pastor at a local church, a woman who taught other people's children about right and wrong while hiding a secret that would destroy her own family. The husband did not try to explain. The mother did not apologize. Instead, the mother screamed at her daughter to get out of her room, their room, as if the daughter was the intruder, as if the past 22 years of marriage had been a lie, and the mother was the true wife. That was only the beginning. Over the next weeks, the woman learned that the affair had been going on for 22 years, since she was 18 years old, since the day she got married. For her entire adult life, her husband had been sleeping with her mother, and then she learned something worse. Her 3 younger brothers, ages 22, 18, and 15, were not her brothers. DNA tests proved they were her husband's children. Her mother had been having unprotected sex with her son-in-law for over 2 decades. She had borne him 3 children. She had raised those children as her husband's. She had sat across from her own daughter at family dinners, holding the daughter of her affair, pretending everything was normal. The family tree is not a tree anymore. It is a knot, a nightmare, a horror story that happens to other people until it happens to you. Before I go any further into this story, I need to stop and ask you to do something. I know you want to hear what happens next. I know you are invested in this woman's story, but I need you to pause for just a moment and think about your own life. Here is my early call to action. If you have a nagging feeling about someone in your life, a feeling that something is wrong, that something doesn't add up, that a relationship seems too close or off in a way you cannot name, I need you to pay attention to that feeling. Do not dismiss it. Do not tell yourself you are being paranoid. Do not let other people gaslight you into doubting your own perception. Your gut instinct exists for a reason. It is your brain processing information faster than your conscious mind can keep up. It is the accumulated wisdom of every experience you have ever had. And when it tells you something is wrong, something is probably wrong. Second, if you are the one keeping a secret that could destroy your family, I need you to hear this. Secrets always come out. Always. The longer you wait, the more damage you will cause. You are not protecting anyone by staying silent. You are planting a bomb. And eventually, that bomb will explode. The only question is how many people will be standing nearby when it does. Get help. See a therapist. Find a way to tell the truth. Not because it is easy, because it is the only path to anything resembling peace. Third, if you have already been betrayed, if you are listening to this story and recognizing your own pain, I need you to know that you are not alone. There are millions of people who have survived betrayals they never imagined. There are support groups, therapists, hotlines, and online communities ready to help you. You do not have to go through this alone. The National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-HOPE. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-7-997-233. Call them, text them, reach out. And finally, share this episode, not to sensationalize someone else's pain, to let other survivors know they are not crazy, to remind people that secrets have consequences, to encourage families to be honest with each other. Now let me continue with the story, because what happened next is even more devastating. Part 1. The discovery. The moment. Everything shattered. The woman is 40 years old. She has been married for 22 years. She has 4 children and is pregnant with a fifth. She thought she had a happy marriage. She thought her mother was a devoted grandmother. She thought her life was secure. She came home early from a trip. She did not tell anyone she was coming. She wanted to surprise her family. She pushed open the door to her bedroom, and there they were. Her husband and her mother, in her bed, in her home, in her life. The woman has described the moment in her Reddit posts. She says she felt like she was watching a movie, like she was outside her own body, looking in, like the world had stopped spinning and everything she had ever believed had been revealed as a lie. Her husband jumped out of bed. He stammered. He tried to explain. He said it was not what it looked like, even though it was exactly what it looked like. But her mother did not cry. She did not beg for forgiveness. She did not show any remorse. She did not say she was sorry. Her mother screamed at her to get out, screamed at her that this was her room now, their room, screamed at her that she was ruining everything. The woman stood there, watching her mother defend an affair with her husband, and felt the ground open up beneath her. She felt her childhood disappear. She felt her marriage evaporate. She felt her future collapse. She asked her husband how long it had been going on. He said it started recently. He said it was a mistake. He said it meant nothing. He said he loved her. He said he was sorry. She did not believe him. Something in her gut told her this was bigger. Something told her this had been happening for a long time. Something told her that her mother's reaction, not shame, not apology, but anger at being caught, meant this was not a one-time thing. She demanded the truth. She said she would not leave until she knew everything. And slowly, painfully, the truth came out. Part 2, The Confession, 22 Years of Lies. The husband finally admitted that the affair had been going on for the entire 22-year marriage. It started immediately after they got married, when the woman was 18 and her mother was 38. According to the husband, the mother had pursued him. She had used her position as his mother-in-law to get close to him, to spend time with him, to create opportunities for them to be alone. She had told him that she understood him better than her daughter ever could. She had told him that their relationship was special. She had told him that no one would ever know. And he had gone along with it. For 22 years. For 22 years, he had been sleeping with both his wife and his mother-in-law. For 22 years, he had been lying to his wife's face every single day. For 22 years, he had been living a double life while his wife raised his children and thought she had a happy marriage. Think about what that means. Every family dinner, every holiday, every birthday party, every time the mother held her grandchildren, every time the husband kissed his wife goodbye. Every single moment of the past 2 decades was a lie. The husband and mother had to coordinate their schedules. They had to find time to be alone. They had to hide their communications. They had to lie to the woman's father, to the children, to the church community, to everyone who knew them. The mother used her position as a grandmother to spend time with the family. She was always around. She was always helpful. She was always just stopping by. And while the woman was at work, while the woman was running errands, while the woman was taking care of the children, the mother and husband were using the family home as their secret meeting place. The woman asked her mother why. The mother did not answer. The mother blamed her daughter for ruining everything. She said the woman should have minded her own business. She said the woman was jealous. She said the woman had destroyed the family. The mother, the children's pastor, the moral authority, the grandmother, blamed her own daughter for catching her in bed with her son-in-law. The woman asked her husband how he could do this to her. He did not have an answer. He said he did not know. He said he was weak. He said he was sorry. But 22 years of sorry means nothing. 22 years of sorry is not a mistake. It is a choice, made over and over again, every single day, for more than 2 decades. Part 3. The Deanna Revelation, when brothers become half-siblings. After the initial shock wore off, the woman started thinking about her 3 younger brothers. They were 22, 18, and 15. The math did not make sense. The affair had been going on for 22 years. Her oldest brother was 22. Her middle brother was 18. Her youngest brother was 15. She confronted her mother. The mother denied everything. She said the boys were her husband's children. She said the woman was crazy. She said the woman was trying to destroy the family. She said the woman needed help. She said the woman was imagining things, but the woman could not let it go. Something in her gut told her the math was too perfect to be a coincidence. She took all three of her brothers for DNA testing. She told them it was for a family ancestry project. She did not tell them what she suspected. The results came back. The three boys were not her brothers. They were her husband's children. Let me say that again. The three boys that the woman had grown up with, the ones she babysat, the ones she changed diapers for, the ones she thought were her siblings, were actually fathered by her own husband. Her mother had been having unprotected sex with her son-in-law for over 2 decades. She had given birth to his children and passed them off as her husband's. She had raised those children alongside her daughter's children, children who were also their half-siblings. The woman's father, who had been married to the mother for over 40 years, was not the biological father of his 3 youngest children. He had raised them, loved them, provided for them, and they were not his. They were his son-in-laws. Imagine learning that. Imagine being a 60-year-old man, looking at the children you raised and discovering that your wife had been unfaithful for over 2 decades with your daughter's husband. Imagine the shame, the rage, the grief, the utter destruction of everything you thought you knew about your life. The woman had to tell her father. She had to sit him down and explain that his youngest children were not his. She had to watch his face as he processed that his wife, the woman he had trusted for 40 years, had been living a double life. She had to tell her brothers that they were not her brothers. She had to explain that the man they thought was their father was not their biological father. She had to watch them process that they were the product of an affair between their mother and their brother-in-law. Part 4. The father's devastation. 40 years of marriage. Erased. Let me spend a moment on the father, because his pain is often overlooked in this story, but it is profound. He was married to the mother for over 40 years. He raised children with her. He built a life with her. He trusted her. He loved her. He had no idea that she was capable of what she did. When his daughter told him the truth, he did not speak for a long time. He just sat there, staring at the wall, processing the fact that his youngest children were not his, processing the fact that his wife had been having sex with his son-in-law, a man young enough to be her son, for over 2 decades, processing the fact that every memory he had of his family was tainted. He asked his daughter, "Was any of it real?" She did not know how to answer, because she was asking herself the same question. He filed for divorce within weeks. After 40 years of marriage, he walked away from the woman he had pledged his life to. He is now in his 60s, living alone, trying to figure out who he is without the life he thought he had. Some of his friends have told him he should have stayed. 40 years is a long time, they say. Can't you forgive her? But they do not understand. Forgiveness is not the issue. The issue is that the woman he loved never existed. She was a performance, a mask, a lie. He has started therapy. He is trying to rebuild, but he will never be the same. Part 5. The children's trauma. Innocent lives caught in the crossfire. The woman's children, ages ranging from toddler to teenager, are struggling to understand what happened. They are not just dealing with the normal pain of divorce. They are dealing with something far more complicated. Their father is a liar. He is not just someone who fell out of love. He is someone who lived a double life for over 2 decades. He is someone who slept with their grandmother. He is someone who fathered children with her. Their grandmother is a betrayer. She is not just someone who made a mistake. She is someone who systematically destroyed their family from the inside. She is someone who pretended to love them while secretly working against their mother. Their 3 uncles are actually their half-brothers. They do not know what to call them anymore. They do not know how to relate to them. They do not know if they are supposed to feel love, anger, or confusion. The oldest child, a teenager, has stopped speaking to both her father and her grandmother. She has told her mother that she never wants to see them again. She is angry, furious, in a way that no teenager should have to be. The youngest children do not fully understand. They know that daddy is gone. They know that grandma is not coming over anymore. They know that something is wrong, but they do not have the language to name it. They just feel the absence. The woman has put all of her children in therapy. She is doing everything she can to protect them from the worst of the details, but she cannot protect them from the fallout. Part 6. The church's complicity, how a children's pastor exploited her position. The mother was a children's pastor. She held a position of trust and authority. She was responsible for the spiritual well-being of young people. She was supposed to be a model of Christian virtue. When the affair came to light, the church acted quickly. They fired her. They issued a statement expressing deep sorrow and concern for the victims. They tried to distance themselves from her, but the damage was done. Parents who had trusted their children to her care are now horrified. They are asking themselves, did she ever harm my child? Did she ever cross a line? Was my child safe? The church has offered counseling to affected families, but some parents are leaving the church entirely. They do not trust the institution anymore. They are asking, how could this have gone undetected for so long? What other secrets are hiding behind the stained glass? The mother's case has sparked broader conversations about accountability in religious institutions. How do we protect vulnerable people from those in positions of power? How do we create systems of oversight that actually work? How do we prevent predators from using faith as a shield? These are not easy questions, but they are necessary ones. Part 7. The legal battle, divorce, custody, and financial ruin. The woman filed for divorce immediately. She is seeking full custody of her children and full financial support. The legal battle has been brutal. The husband is fighting for visitation rights. His lawyers argue that his affair with the mother, however immoral, does not make him an unfit father. The woman's lawyers counter that his deception, his betrayal, and his willingness to live a double life for over 2 decades demonstrate a profound lack of character. They argue that he cannot be trusted to put the children's needs first. The custody case is ongoing. The outcome is uncertain. The financial situation is also complicated. The husband was the primary breadwinner. The woman has been a stay-at-home mother for most of their marriage. She has no income of her own. She is pregnant with their 5th child. She is relying on savings, family support, and a GoFundMe campaign to get by. She has asked for privacy, but she has also expressed gratitude for the outpouring of support she has received. The mother, meanwhile, is facing her own legal battles. Her husband has filed for divorce. He is seeking to have the marriage annulled on the grounds of fraud. He is also seeking financial restitution for the years he spent raising children who were not his. The legal fees are mounting. The emotional toll is incalculable. Part 8. The psychology. What kind of person does this? Let me take a moment to talk about the psychology of the mother and the husband, because understanding what kind of person could do this is important for recognizing the red flags in your own relationships. The mother. The mother's behavior is characteristic of a personality disorder. She showed no remorse. She blamed her daughter for catching her. She felt entitled to her daughter's husband. She manipulated everyone around her for decades. This is not a woman who made a mistake. This is a woman who made a choice, thousands of choices, over 22 years, to betray her daughter, her husband, her grandchildren, and her church. People like this often seek out positions of power and trust. They become teachers, pastors, coaches, community leaders. They use their reputations as shields. They count on the fact that no one will believe accusations against them because they seem so good, so respectable, so above reproach. The mother's reaction to being caught, anger, blame, deflection, is classic abuser behavior. It is called DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. She denied that she had done anything wrong. She attacked her daughter for ruining everything, and she reversed the roles, making herself the victim and her daughter the perpetrator. The husband. The husband's behavior is also characteristic of a personality disorder. He lied to his wife every day for 22 years. He had no problem sleeping with his wife and her mother simultaneously. He showed no initiative to stop the affair. He only confessed when he was caught. This is not a man who was seduced by a more experienced woman. This is a man who made a choice, thousands of choices, over 22 years to betray his wife, his children, and his marriage vows. Men like this often have difficulty with intimacy, commitment, and honesty. They compartmentalize their lives. They have one persona for their wife and another for their mistress. They are skilled at deception. They are skilled at manipulation. And they are skilled at making their victims feel like they are the ones who are crazy. Part 9. Additional similar cases. You are not alone. The woman's story is extreme, but it is not unique. There are other documented cases of similar betrayals. In 2024, a woman in Texas discovered that her mother had been sleeping with her husband for 15 years. The affair resulted in 2 children who were raised as the woman's siblings. The family is still in litigation. In 2023, a man in Florida learned that his father had been sleeping with his wife for over a decade. The affair produced a child who was raised as the man's sibling. The family has been torn apart. In 2022, a woman in California discovered that her mother had been having an affair with her fiancé. The wedding was called off. The mother and fiancé are now married to each other. These cases are rare, but they happen. They happen more often than we want to acknowledge. And they remind us that betrayal can come from the people closest to us, the people we trust the most. If you have experienced a similar betrayal, please know that you are not alone. There are others who understand your pain. There are support groups. There are therapists. There is help. Part 10. The Survivor's Roadmap. How to Heal from Profound Betrayal. The woman is still healing. She is still processing. She is still figuring out how to raise her children in the aftermath of this nightmare. Here is what she has learned and what she wants other survivors to know. First, you stop blaming yourself. The woman did nothing wrong. She trusted her husband. She trusted her mother. That is not a flaw. That is what people are supposed to do in healthy relationships. The failure was not her trust. The failure was their betrayal. Second, you trust your gut. The woman knew something was wrong. She did not believe her husband when he said the affair had just started. She pushed for the truth. She demanded answers. She followed her intuition, and it led her to the DNA test that revealed everything. Third, you get proof. The woman did not rely on accusations. She did not confront her mother without evidence. She got DNA tests. She got documentation. She built a case. Fourth, you cut ties. The woman cut off all contact with her mother. She filed for divorce. She is not trying to work things out. She is not attending family therapy with a woman who destroyed her life. Fifth, you get support. The woman reached out to online communities. She shared her story. She found thousands of people who believed her, validated her, and supported her. Sixth, you give yourself time. The woman is still processing. She is still grieving. She is still figuring out how to raise her children. Healing does not happen overnight. It happens slowly, in small moments, over years. Seventh, you protect the children. The woman's children are the innocent victims. She has put them in therapy. She is shielding them from the worst details. She is creating a new normal for them. Eighth, you rebuild. The woman lost everything: her marriage, her relationship with her mother, her understanding of her family, her sense of identity. But she is still standing. I told this story on Love, Lies, and Life Lessons, but on this show, I want to leave you with something different. That show is about relationships. This show is about survival. And here's the truth. Sometimes survival means walking away. Sometimes survival means cutting off your own mother. Sometimes survival means divorcing the father of your children. Sometimes survival means accepting that the life you thought you had was a lie. That is devastating. That is heartbreaking. That is unfair. But it is also the only path forward. The woman in this story is still standing. She is still pregnant. She is still raising her children. She is still fighting for custody and financial support. She is still here. And so are you. If you are carrying a secret that is destroying you, tell someone. If you have been betrayed, stop protecting the person who hurt you. If you are afraid of what will happen when the truth comes out, remember, the truth already happened. The only question is whether you will keep living a lie. You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to be free. You deserve to heal. The National Sexual Assault Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-656-HOPE. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. You are not alone. You are not crazy, and you deserve to know the truth. Share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Tag it #LifePointsWithRhonda. Start a conversation about family secrets, about trust, about the importance of honesty. Subscribe to Life Points with Ronda and join me on my other shows, Love, Lies, and Life Lessons, The Wealth Reset Pod, and Lady Aurelia Ravenshade Presents, for more deep conversations about truth, healing, and survival. If you need help, reach out. The hotlines are there for you. The therapists are there for you. The support groups are there for you. You do not have to go through this alone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying. Thank you for being brave enough to hear the hard truths. Until next time. Thank you for tuning in to Life Points with Rhonda. Be sure to subscribe, share, and keep growing.